Welcome to the Co-Host Bros Podcast, where we break down everything short-term rentals, entrepreneurship, and building a profitable hospitality business. Whether you're a host, investor, or property manager, we share real strategies, real insights, and real experiences to help you scale smarter and grow faster. Let's dive in.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Co-Host Bros Podcast. My name is Matt Cott. I'm here with my good buddy Austin Spitz, and today we have Mr. Kenny Bedwell, the owner of STR Insights and short-term rental operator as well. What is going on, Kenny?
Not much, Matt. Glad to be on. Super excited to be on. So this is looking forward to this. I had this a Friday, so I had this on my calendar for a little bit, and I was like, let's do it. Let's hop on the podcast. So yeah. Excited to talk.
Love it, man. I always refer to you as like the Michael Jordan of data. So that's my nickname for you.
Michael Jordan of data. All right. Yes.
Yeah, he doesn't do anything if it doesn't come with extra zeros on the 23.
There you go. Do you guys do you know the song Sirius? It's the Bulls, like the Chicago Bulls, their entrance song. You know, I don't know if you guys ever watched the Chicago Bulls when they were like coming, but I think it was in 97 or 98. Or whatever, but it's that like pump up song. It's funny whenever I do like a free workshop or something, I always start with that like before I get on. I'm like pump everybody up for that for the like the Chicago Bulls Michael Jordan songs. Everybody loves it. So it's funny you say that. Michael Jordan data. I love it. So
you should have licensed that for your podcast, your intro.
I should, yes, I should, but YouTube keeps telling me that I can't. So
can't do a lot of things on YouTube.
I know, all their little trademark restrictions. I hate it. So
awesome. Well, we'll go ahead and dive right into it. I think most of our listeners are probably pretty aware of who you are at this point. But just in case they're not, go ahead, give us a little rundown. How'd you get into this space, and kind of what does it look like that you're doing these days?
Yeah, for sure. So I actually started investing in short-term rentals in 2018. I used to, I don't know if anybody still goes to these like REI meetings in their local like towns or cities. I live in Buffalo, New York. And so all the people there that were showing up in these and like around that time period were all these like old geezers, with a bunch of like apartment units and talking about long-term rentals. And I was working at Citibank at the time as a data analyst, and I was like, I want to get into real estate and I want to do this. And I was just like, I guess I just buy apartment complexes and multifamily houses and rent them out long-term. And that's how you're successful, because that's what everybody there was talking about. And there was one guy in the room. He was a little bit younger, like in his 40s. And he was like just super, he just had this energy about him. And he was like telling everybody, guys, this Airbnb thing, like it's legit. You'll make more money. And I'd used Airbnb before, and I was currently using it. And I'm just like, that's interesting. Let me hear more. So I was asking about it, and he's like, he had a property and it was making 3 times what the long-term rents were. And his property was in the same area that I had just bought a duplex in. And I was like, I'll try it out. Why not? I convinced my wife. She was nervous about it, and we did it. And sure enough, I was making that money. And I was like, hold on, we're on to something here. Let me do it again and again and again. And so I started to grow this portfolio in Buffalo short-term rentals, and they were doing really well. COVID hit, and they did even better during COVID, which was awesome. Not during the first few months, but like a couple months in to COVID. But anyway, I was like, I need to start doing this. And I had to hit a pivotal point where I had to decide, do I double down in Buffalo, or do I look in other markets? Do I diversify, or the economies of scale? Because I got the cleaners, I got the team, I got everything here. But I knew deep down, I'm like, I don't know. I'm in New York State. I don't know where do you guys live? Texas, or where are you guys at? Yeah. So Texas. Like Texas, a little more landlord friendly than New York, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, we have a terrible reputation for being not landlord friendly. And I was like, I don't know if I got shut down tomorrow, I would be screwed. All of my properties are short-term rentals. Not that I couldn't flip in the long-term rentals, but it just like from a revenue standpoint, it just dropped significantly. I'd be in trouble. And so I said, I'm going to diversify, and I need to know what other markets to go to. And so I put my data analyst skills from Citibank into play and I went and actually created a software that I personally use to find other markets to invest into. And so one of the properties I bought was in a market about 3 hours from me. And I bought the property for $350,000. So this is one of the many properties I've done recently, but this one I bought in 2022 for $350,000. Last year, guys, I did $143,000 on that property. I'd never heard of that market before. I'd put the data together for from Airbnb and also housing prices, and so discovered these new markets, discovered these like honeypots around the country, and then I started to expand and grow, and then I started STR Insights because my friends who were other investors, I was sharing these, like, it was just spreadsheets at the time. They're like, Kenny, you got to share this with other people, and so I did. I turned it into STR Insights, made the software public, and turned it into that. And now we've kind of gone more on the consulting side to help people actually find those opportunities using the software. But I've got software and consulting, and that's what I do now.
So you just said, I'm going to figure out how to find a property myself, and I'm going to make a program do it for me.
Data.
And
yep.
How long did it take you to make this, like, for yourself? I mean, I'm assuming it was like an Excel spreadsheet at that time running on macros and stuff, but how long did that take you?
Months. Like a long time. Yeah. So the hard part, like, I have the ability to gather the data. Like, I know how to do it. The hard part was taking all of the data and interpreting it, correctly. And it's just so much. So it was like so many different data points. And so I was, learning a lot of, having, to put this in databases. I mean, and then like downloading into spreadsheets to like run our macros. But when it starts to grow, I mean, it can't sit in a spreadsheet or Microsoft. What's the stupid database one in Microsoft called? It's just too small. But we're basically putting SQL servers and things and having to run large queries and be really technical and wise about it. So, well, I don't want to bore your listeners about all the the data intricacies of analyzing short-term rental data, but it's a lot of data, and so it took a lot of time to gather, but also interpret and be able to understand where. So, yeah,
that's crazy. So, I know now you do more like property finding for people.
mm-hmm.
I know numerous people have used you to find their property. How many people have you?
It's nothing like that guy Kenny.
Yeah. Oh, I haven't heard any bad things. I did. When I was talking to Dawn, though, the property in Kentucky gave her a whirl when she bought it. It wasn't you. It was the person that sold it, and I guess the realtor. I don't know, but I know she had nothing but problems with that property. I think it's going good now, though, but that's not your fault. So you just find the property.
I told her. I said, Dawn, like, yeah, she had some plumbing issues, $60,000 plumbing issues, and some other little things like with the pool, but it's going to be. It is one of the top properties in that area. So I said, hold on. Trust me, in a year or so, you'll be like, hey, Kenny, this was the best decision ever.
I think the pool worked out. I think when I talked to her last time about the pool, she thought they were gonna have to like redo everything, redo all the plumbing because like you couldn't even see in the pool. So like, oh, everything's messed up. But I guess it just needed to be cleaned. I think it worked out. I think they just changed some filters and got it going. But that was she was pretty scared because that was gonna be a big project.
Home ownership problems, right?
Yeah. Don't you hate that?
Yeah, I know.
So how many people have you helped find a property so far since you started doing property finding?
I wish I kept better. The data guy's saying this. I wish I kept better data. But we really started tracking it in last year, 2024, 2023. So 2024, we helped over 104 people find a property, but I've been doing it since 2022. So I would probably say 200 to 250 at least. So, and this year we're actually on pace to do over 200 this year alone. So,
wow. And I'm assuming it's not just you anymore. You probably have other people helping you do that.
I do. Yeah. So I bring in other real estate investors I meet. I'm really particular about it because it's kind of my brand, and from a business perspective too, like you have to really trust the people, you're bringing on, because essentially they're bringing properties to people and you're going to put your stamp of approval on them. And if you don't believe in it, then that's a bad look, and you don't want anyone to be unsuccessful. And so we're very cautious about that. But I've got a group of 3 right now who help me, they're actually all way more experienced in real estate investing than I am. It's funny when they're like, but Kenny, I want to just specifically work with you. And I'm like, you don't understand. I'm putting you with someone who has more experience, who's been investing for like 20 years in real estate. Like, they know more than I do, And so it's like, I would like want to work with them and not me if I had a choice. Anyway,
Right.
but yeah, I get it though. So.
I think it's probably the marketing videos. I think you've just made people laugh so much that they're like, no, dude, I don't care if they'll make me more money. I want Kenny. I want Kenny.
Kenny. He's gonna make me a reel. So.
I want it in his reel. I don't care. Here's all my money. Just put me in one of your reels.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
But no, I was gonna say, so let's open that up a little bit. You help people find profitable properties. So let's not necessarily discuss pricing, as maybe that's subject to change as this episode comes out, but break down the 2 services that you provide. So I'm coming, I say, hey, Kitty, I need to find a market in a property. How can you help me? What does that look like?
Sure. So what I like to do, is it okay if I give a kind of a long-winded answer?
Yes, we have plenty of time.
All right. But yeah, all the time in the world. Right? So first off, I like to do a little bit, I say this jokingly, and seriously, everyone listening to this is a joke, but it feels like this sometimes from my perspective. I almost feel like a therapist or counselor when I talk with people on an initial, like someone comes to me and says, hey, Kenny, I want you to help me find a property, because I have to ask them and understand their situation. Why? Like, what are you looking to obtain? What are your goals? What's your budget? What are your personal preferences? Like, why are you trying to do this? And really unpack to help them understand, like, what are the market expectations? Like, what's realistic versus like what's make believe and what I've heard on social media or YouTube or a guru from like 2020 or 2021. And so I sit down with everybody that wants to eat before they even want to, I want to sign up for your program. I'm like, okay, like, what are you looking for? Is it even going to be a good fit? And really trying to understand someone's situation and what they're trying to achieve, not just from a revenue standpoint, but also a life standpoint as well. I found by doing that, it helps me give better advice, but also sets clear expectations and helps people understand like what's actually possible and realistic, rather than like, yeah, man, you're going to get a 30% cash on cash return and you're going to be so rich, you're going to quit your job next year. Where it's like, look, realistically, it looks like this path here. How do you feel about that? And that's where, like I say, like the counseling or therapist thing comes along, because like some people just don't understand that, and they need that and they have to like talk through it a little bit. So that's where I start in that conversation. And then I ask them, look, are you wanting to learn how to do this process, or do you just want it done for you? Because some people are in a 1031 exchange, like a deadline. They have to buy a property by a certain time so they don't have to pay the taxes on the one they just sold. And so I will help them and sit down with them and say, look, if we're going to have to move faster, we have this other program called Done For You, or the first one I mentioned, teaching people how to do it's called Done With You. And we sit down with them and we actually teach them how to find and identify and how we're going through the process, and then actually go out and do it for them. So it's hand holding, rather than purely just, hey, here's a property, go buy it. Take my word for it, So, and I typically push most people towards that, like, I don't say lesser program, it's cheaper program, because they learn how to do it and they go through the process and taking the time to be able to do their own due diligence. So, so Done With You, and then Done For You, which is like the white glove, do everything for me. So.
And now there's Done For You with urgency, everybody. That's the markup. No, I'm just kidding.
Done For You with urgency. Yeah.
So
yeah.
Would you say someone's a good client like this? Like, this is what I would say. Like, so let's say what if I already have a market? So I'm like, okay, I want to buy in Fredericksburg, Texas, right? So I already know where I want to go, but I don't know how to buy right. So is it better for you to have a client that's like, hey, I'm just kind of an investor and I just want to pick a profitable market. You have the knowledge and I don't want to use it. But let's say I live in Texas and I want to buy something in Fredericksburg, Texas that I want to use for Thanksgiving or Christmas with my family, that I also want to make it a profitable asset. Would I be a client to you if I said, hey, I want you to find the property for me, but I know exactly where it is? Or is that just too much of a layup for you? I mean, would that make sense to work with you?
Hey, everybody. Are you looking for your next property or are you trying to comp out some co-host clients? I got you a discount for STRIQ. It's the perfect software to check that out. It's like the Zillow of property finding. I got you 10% off a monthly membership if you use co-host Bros 10. I got you 15% off a quarterly membership if you use co-host Bros 15. And I got you 20% off an annual membership with co-host Bros 20. Don't forget there's a 7-day free trial before you're even charged, so you can check it out for free. You can check it out and sign up in the show notes. There's a link in the show notes. And make sure you use one of those codes, and that way you can save some money and check it out for free. Thank you, everybody, and back to the show.
Well, so in my experience, it's actually easier to work with people who are a little more open to being anywhere. And the reason why is because of the amount of time it takes. So if you told me Fredericksburg isn't that big, and there's regulations there and, with the downtown and some of the surrounding areas. And so it's like, well, look, can I convince you to do just the hill country in general? Can we look beyond just Fredericksburg? Please, can we look beyond? Not that I don't like Fredericksburg, but like we're now handcuffed by inventory. So the time process, and it's like fine. And if people are like, no, I want Fredericksburg, that's fine. It might take us a couple months. Is that okay with you? It just this is what we're restricted by. I can't pull rabbits out of a hat. I'll keep it clean, but
no, you can say out of your ass too. It's fine. Well,
there you go. Yeah, but like seriously, like it's I'm not a miracle worker on some of these markets, but I get it, and people have preferences, and it's like, yeah, it's just going to take a little bit more time. This is what we're going to see. So it just depends. But I wouldn't necessarily say they're the ideal, but the perfect client is like, find me something, the best cash flowing property anywhere. I don't care where it is. Just I'm open to any market. I just want the best returns. Then I'm like, we're going to find something sweet, like somewhere that it's going to be like, they're going to be the top dog in that market, and they're going to get a really good return, and they're going to be really excited about it. It's just not going to be somewhere, it might be somewhere they just didn't expect. So, yeah.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Austin. No, you're good. Go for it.
I was just saying, so long story short, it's better for somebody to come to you with an open mind and allow you guys to do what you guys do. Basically, give Michael Jordan the ball and get out of the way and let him kind of do his thing, essentially, and have an open mind versus it makes it easier for you to find a profitable property. So that was really
exactly. There's 10 seconds left in the game. You're the player, the investor is the player with the ball. They're standing out of bounds to pass it in. Your job is to get the ball to Michael, and then get the hell out of his way. Like, let him shoot the game, the game winner, right, and get out of his way. Yes, that's the ideal. And get out of his way means multiple things. It doesn't just mean the markets. It also means, if Michael's going to take the shot, you're going to be like, this is going to go in, rather than like, oh, let's just keep seeing what else is out there. We have some gun shy people as well. It's hard to work with. So being serious, I really try to, before I work with anyone says, hey, Kenny, let's go. I'm like, let's make sure you're ready to buy first. Because if you're not, it is just a waste of time.
Right.
Like, I still buy properties. I've got a boutique hotel under contract right now. I've got a property actually in Texas under contract right now. I won't say where, maybe offline, but I just don't want to
tell us after. Tell us after.
After I will, sure. I just don't want a lot of people following me there right now, which will happen. And I'm relaunching one property this month and another one next. I mean, I'm investing too. And so the biggest thing that I hate is wasting my time and other people's time. And so I try to really nip that in the bud well in advance before we get to before someone's like, so we know that when we show them a good property, they're going to put in an offer, or they're going to be excited about it and put in an offer, rather than just like, what else is out there? So anyway.
Yeah, I think so. Okay, that gives us a good picture of like high level the services that you offer. My next question is for our listeners that aren't familiar with STR Insights. Can you kind of break down what problem essentially? I know you talked about it a little bit in the beginning, but what kind of problem are you essentially solving? How does it work? Who's the ideal person to sign up for a subscription for STR Insights?
Yeah, so we've made a lot of the tools free now. And we recently just launched this quietly launched, because I mean, we don't need to, I don't know. It's not something we're like, oh, wow, like this crazy new feature that's going to change how you invest in real estate, but it helps us from our side help people a little better. But basically what STR Insights is turning into is a platform that helps you find a property and gives you the resources you need when you need them. So for example, we have our market finding dashboard, and that is a subscription base where what market should I invest in based on my budget and my goals. It will tell you markets all across the country and you can search everywhere. And then we have hey, I already know my market. Just show me the data on the market. And we even put this at the top of the tool where it says like, I'm looking for a market, and here's all the check boxes you need to identify a market. Like you can check them. And then it moves to, I'm looking for data in the market, or I'm looking for a property. And we have properties for sale. We even post free properties for sale that some of our consulting clients don't want. We post them in that site there. They could be really good deals. Just nobody that we're serving actually wants them. There's a lot of those. And it's just strsforsale.com. It's also in STR Insights as well. And boom, that pops up. It's free. People can use that. We have a deal analyzer that will actually break down. You plug in an address, it'll tell you the revenue. It'll tell you the comps of the properties nearby. You can customize the radius and other things too. We're working on putting our pro forma in as well as part of the software, so you can underwrite. And then finally, we just launched a marketplace where you can talk to lenders and realtors in those markets. So there's a lot, like we're trying to create something where we can meet you wherever you are. Because not everybody's like, some people already know what market they want to go to. And some people, it's like, I want Fredericksburg. Great. Do you need a realtor for Fredericksburg? Oh, I already got one. Great. You need to understand data. So here's a tool to analyze revenue in those markets as well. So it's just something for everyone in their journey to help them get to the end result. So, yeah.
I feel like they need to understand property tax in that market.
Yeah, no kidding. They're in Michigan, man. It's brutal.
Yeah. Yeah. Texas is like, ugh.
Yeah,
it's
well, it's so funny.
nasty.
Like my friend who's an agent there, she like sent me this property. I was like, oh, this is really cool. But I was like, and I like go down, it's like on 12 acres. I'm like, oh. I was like, I don't. What's that, like a $25,000-$30,000 tax bill?
Oh, well, you just got to use like 2 acres and just roll hay and sell it and just get an agricultural exemption, and it'll cost you next to nothing.
Really?
That's what they do. That's what you do here. Yeah.
Huh.
And if it's rural, you can go up to, I think, 100 acres and do a homestead too if you live there technically.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Any cowboy?
Yeah, but I just know a lot of people who do it. I don't do it. I have a residential house. I don't have no room to roll hay. But yeah, no. So I got a friend that owns land in a certain place, and they just roll hay on it and get an ag exemption. They got like 50 acres, and it lowers their property tax like significantly, like ridiculously.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. So you could, there are some ways around that. So you do property finding, so I get that. But then I feel like, do you have issues with people like, say we're trying to find a property for Austin and Fredericksburg, and we're like, okay, Austin, this is a good property for you, right? But here's the problem. You need to add a hot tub, you need to add this, this, and this. And Austin's like, oh no, I'm not going to do it. And you're like, well, then you're not going to make any money at all. You're going to be negative. Like, do you ever have that kind of problems with people that you try to help find properties?
No, and they're not now. And the reason why is because I get that we have those conversations. I call it the expectations talk before we even roll forward. So I go, look, here are properties that I have found for clients in this particular market that you're interested in, or markets. Here's the data. Here's how much they've made. Here's what they bought it for. Here's how much they had to put into the property. And normally I already kind of ask some of these questions, like how much cash do you have on hand? And are you willing to invest in the property? Yeah, getting that. And then I show them examples, and I ask them at the end, are you comfortable with something like this? Are you comfortable with the market? Are you comfortable with the data, the numbers, what they're currently performing? Is that good enough for you? And then finally, what they had to put into the property, is that, like, are you okay with all that? And if they're like, no, that's a red flag for me, at least. Then I have to show them another example. And if nothing works out, then I know this probably isn't a good fit. So the only problem is when we have people who like come in and they say, the biggest one we run into is people who come in and say, I'm comfortable doing work on a property, like renovations. And then they change their minds while we're looking. So, you what? So anyway, but, and I get it. Not everybody wants to do renovations. I understand it, but value add, improving appreciation, not buying at the top of the market. I mean, that's smart real estate investing. And so I try to educate and teach and help people understand that too. But at the end of the day, not everybody wants to do that. And that's understandable. We just got to know ahead of time. And that it doesn't mean I want to work with you. It just means that I can show you examples of more turnkey products, but understand the returns aren't as great. So it just depends on the situation. So, yeah.
Yeah, 'cause I feel like you'd get issues with that sometimes. So I have a couple other questions, but I'm going to keep it on the property finding part right now. Have you ever had to fire a client?
Yeah. Yeah, I have.
Yeah.
Yeah, a couple times.
I like that
Yeah.
one. A couple times.
Oh,
So
yeah.
when you fire them, you keep the money, the deposit.
No, I give them back their money. Heck no.
You're just
No,
like, here you go. I'm done with you.
Yeah, pretty much. It's kind of like you just have to have those like real conversations, and say, look, like, we can't keep wasting our time. You're not putting in offers. We've showed you really good properties. We've got the numbers. There really isn't a rebuttal to that makes sense as to why this doesn't make sense for you. It comes down to, you're just not ready. And then they say, yeah, I'm just looking for this perfect property that has X, Y, and Z. And you just know it's not going to be possible. So you got to cut your losses where your losses, you know what I mean? So it's funny. I don't know if you guys have heard of the 80-20 rule. So, 20% of your clients take up 80% of your time. I guess it's 20-80 rule, other way around. But basically, like, and we're trying to weed out those 20% so we don't have to deal with them to begin with. So I do literally, if somebody listening to this is interested in talking with me, we chat, I go through the whole program with them, and then we set up another free call, and just go through expectations, because I don't want to waste anybody's time. And so we really, really like get on that call and try to weed people out from there. And we do that. We do a better job now. So I haven't had to fire any clients recently. But beginning of last year was the learning lessons. So yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I think that you you learned to ask more and more questions as you're going along. You
look for the red flags. Yeah, literally, like one week, people they'll come to you. If you don't ask the right questions, you just won't find out until later when it's too late. Like, for example, we had somebody come to me and they're looking for like a 20%, 25% return. And they're looking for like a really like more turnkey property. I'm like, okay, this is already pretty hard. Let's go forward with it. And then we start going and they're like, oh, by the way, and they drop me with I'm going to use property management. And I'm like that's 20%, So now I'm looking for like this huge home run, property. And I'm like, well, why wouldn't I buy that property if I find it? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like that,
exactly.
That's making like 30 to 40% gross ROI, not 20, to like be successful. So it's just the whole like, so it's just lesson learned. Like, we have to ask that question at the beginning. Not that it can't work, just you're explaining the expectations of, look, if you hire property management, the returns are going to be around here instead of here.
You better hire a good one too.
So yeah.
Yeah, so that's that. I feel like that what you hit on is very transferable to any business in any industry, because when you're starting out, you don't know what you don't know. And I know a lot of our listeners know, like, from our podcast kind of geared towards property management and co-hosting, it's the same thing when you're interviewing these clients. Like, do they live 20 minutes away? Okay. Are they mentioning on calls, hey, we'll stop by pretty frequently? Like, are they those kind of people? There's a number of things, that you can sniff out. It's very transparent for you as well. Like, are they willing to make the investments on the property to get to where it needs to be? Or are they like, I don't even want to update the couch? Like, these are all things where you start realizing at the beginning you didn't know it. So you're kind of like, yeah, I just want to build my business, so I'm going with it. But at the end of the day, you're like, okay, this is not a good fit. So all that to be said, I think it's like pretty transferable to any business, and it's like asking the right questions, right?
Right. Yeah, that's 100. Yeah, it's so true. Like, making sure that you fully understand, and it's not necessarily their fault either. It's just what they're expecting versus like what you're expecting. And then the ease, I'll get people all the time that, hey, Kenny, like, their circumstances are just different. Like, a big one I get all the time, and I just started telling them, no, I can't help you. Our funds will reach out, like, who have trying to buy us, like people who have like a group of investors, and they're like, you find me a property, and they're just a headache. I'm like, I don't want to work with a fund because I got to go through. You're just a middleman. I'm like, now I'm working like, because they got to take it and then they got to pitch it to the investors, and the investors don't like it. Then it comes back to me, and I'm like, that's a headache. I don't want to work with headaches, and they're great guys. They're nice guys, but just like, it's just not a good fit for what I'm looking to do.
Buy an apartment. Leave me alone.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Well, never mind. I get into anyway. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say to Matt, not really to Matt's point, but like, let's just say though. So do you specialize specifically? Like, say there's people out there listening, they don't want to do they want to go straight to the expert. And do you do things like, is it just single family homes? Are you able to do, boutique hotels and stuff like that, or is that more of like on the commercial side, and you're just like, hey, I just do single family kind of vacation homes, or can you go outside the box into more creative avenues of real estate, or do you just hyper focus on vacation rentals, one roof, that kind of thing?
Yeah, so I'm probably more hyper focused on vacation rentals. Like I said, I am under contract on a boutique hotel, but this is my first one. I know very little about them, and I'm learning a lot. I'm learning that a lot of other people who have them don't know much about them either. But oh man, that's been fun to anyway uncover. But so I don't like, especially coming out like, oh, I'm the expert at X, Y, and Z. I don't want to do something that I really don't even have much experience with. So maybe in the future I do have boutique hotels, but right now it is single family homes that do very well on as Airbnb. So yeah.
So how many doors is this hotel you're under contract with?
14. Yeah.
14. Nice.
It's in the French Quarter. It's right outside. It's like a block away from the French Quarter in New Orleans.
So. Oh, really? Oh, cool. Let me know when you need me to test it out. It's only 4 hours away. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Have you been over there?
I have been in New Orleans. Yeah, I have seen. Yeah, and I've been in the hotel. Yeah.
There's some good spots to eat over there, man. I'll tell you.
Oh, I know that. I got the locals took me around. I got charboiled oysters, and I went to Portugal with the big sandwiches, all that, or the burgers, and it was really fun. And honestly, like, I'm not gonna lie, like, I came in with a preconceived notion that New Orleans was gonna be super dirty and trashy and like this like pure party place, but it was. Granted, the locals were like, "Hey, look, they cleaned up recently from Mardi Gras and the Super Bowl and stuff," but it was really clean, and there was just a lot of cool stuff in the area, history and the architecture and all the. I was like, man, I'm going to take my wife here, and enjoy the area sometime. Like, we're not partiers, but this is cool, Yeah,
so. You should take her out there. Take her over to the GWFNs when you go out there. It's a good spot. It's it's a little pricey, but it's wonderful. But so how did you find your hotel? Did you use your STR Insights? Because I know you probably did it. No. So how did you like, what made you realize this was a good deal? Like, you just.
Yeah. So one of the valuable resources that I've made from this industry is people, connections. And so I work with real estate agents, partners, brokers all across the country, and they send me crap every day. Like, I get Facebook messages every single day, or emails or text messages. Kenny, you gotta find somebody for this deal, because they know what I do. They know I have lots of clients, and they know I bring them business. And so they send me on and off market opportunities. And so our agent down in New Orleans sent the property. She's like, you got to find somebody for this. This is the location's like 10 out of 10. I didn't know anything about New Orleans. And I was like, all right, I'll pass it around and see. And there weren't really any takers. And she kept bugging me about it. She's like, Kenny, you don't understand. Like, she's like, I got their P&Ls. The property's listed for 1.5 million. They were doing $500,000 in gross revenue. And it's like a Motel 6 condition right now.
Yeah, you could do more, way more. And you said where you're just located, like,
yeah,
that's prime real estate.
It's across the street. Yeah, the trolley car has a stop right there. Like, I was like, good grief, like, this is beautiful. So anyway, but I just saw the P&L and the numbers, and I was like, holy crap, that's a lot of potential. And then I'm like, I've been thinking about the boutique hotel play just to see what the hubbub is about. And so I'm like, this might be a good opportunity where I'm not like over leveraged, but still like pushing myself to be able to do something challenging, but yet, try it out, not, screw myself either. So anyway, so that's what kind of led to that. And I was like, yeah, let's figure this out and do it. So here we are doing it. So
that's killer.
Yeah. But come back to me in a month. Once I've closed on the thing, we're past due diligence. We're in the financing part, and that's a rodeo in and of itself. So.
I'm sure it's a challenge.
Have you guys ever had a lender ask for your passport, like photos of your passport? I'm like,
oh, really?
I've never had to do any of that. I literally I had to give them 4 years of tax returns, like all this crap, K1s, 1099s, W2s, everything from like the last 4 years, license, passports. I have to know the renovation stuff down to the penny, like all the quotes and things. And because I mean, we're renovating the whole building. And then we had to do an environmental impact report. I'm like in $20,000 in due diligence on this thing. That's like not even including like the earnest. So
I mean, and you're trying to get it financed yourself?
yeah. Well, I'm personally guaranteeing it, but yes, yeah.
Yeah. Most people don't go that route either. So you probably can't find a lot of people who've had that issue. Because yeah.
It's challenging. It's just a lot more. And not all banks are like, oh yeah, let's do a hotel. They're kind of like, oh, is this, they call it flagged or unflagged, meaning like, is it a brand name or is it, whatever. And sometimes they just don't have an appetite for the boutique hotels. So it's fun. It's really fun. So
yeah, you're gonna learn a lot about it. So that'll be something else to talk about.
I know. Maybe I'll come back and be like, yeah, guys, it was the worst decision ever. But
that was terrible.
That was terrible.
I sold it and bought another hotel somewhere else. No.
Yeah, there we go. Or just turn it back to or just bought a single family somewhere else, most likely.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's crazy. So how many properties you're managing your own properties, right? Still?
I manage 2 right now. I'm probably going to go down to 1 just so I hate managing. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I personally hate it. I'm a guy who's like, what's your zone of genius? Like, what do you excel at? And then anything else, you let other people who that's their zone of genius handle for you. So there's one property. I've had it for a while. I just know it really well. It's close to me. And I'm like, I'm going to manage it to stay like still in tune with the industry and how management goes and dealing with certain things like technologies and other software and stuff. So I can try things out, but I don't have the time to manage all these other properties. So I have teams of VAs and other resources I use to not have to deal with the management side. But I personally I will never hire a property manager. I'll either do a co-host or work with a team of VAs. I just don't think property management's worth it. So, but nothing against it. I'm like, there's so many ways that we can manage ourselves with the right teams in place that you don't need that. So, yeah.
Well, I mean, that's all they're going to do anyway is go hire a team of VAs to take care of it. So
exactly.
It's pretty much the same thing. You might as well just hire your own team, train your own team, and then basically, okay, maybe like 1 hour every other week, you got to bother me for some bullshit and then, take care of it.
Exactly. So, yeah.
Here's a good one. So operating a boutique hotel is going to look different than operating, short-term rentals, whether using, cloud beds, different software, stuff like that. So what does it look like from a management perspective? Are you looking to manage, because this isn't another 14 units, right? Well, I don't know if you have partners that are manage it. Maybe it's none of our business, but the point is like, are you going to manage, because that's essentially 14, different listings, and it's in a whole nother asset of like, so are you looking to manage that yourself or, is that a project you want to take on?
Yeah, no. So I have a business partner on this, and they're going to actually deal with we're going to work on it together, but I'm not going to be in the day-to-day or probably the month-to-month. I'm more of the numbers side, the financial side. And so, but yes, like I am learning like the biggest problem with boutique hotels that nobody talks about are the turnover and the cleaning. And because it's not a short-term rental, and you have to bake in the cost of a turnover inside of the room costs, right? Like you can't charge like how we do with it. Oh, it's a $500 cleaning fee. It doesn't work like that. So you've got to budget that in, and then you got all these linens you have to do. So where is that going to get done? If there's no washer and dryer on site, well, crap. You got a company that comes in, that's expensive, and that's a lot. So there's a lot of logistics to it as well that I'm learning about and trying to figure out, and so. That's been fun, and we're gonna have to hire employees.
Right. Yeah, you're gonna need more than just a cleaner. You're going to need
Yeah.
somebody, multiple cleaners.
You can automate. I know there's a big move right now to automate a lot, and that's what we are going to do as well. But you still have to have people that can be on site, and come at a drop of a dime if something's going on, because it's not even the houses that host 20 people, sleep 20 people or whatever. That's really simple. The cars pull up, they go in, they all know each other. But this is random people coming together, staying at the same place, and other random people walking by because it's a city, right? So like, you got to have some of these protections and things like that. So it's a little bit more complicated than just a single family home.
So with you said it was 14 doors, right?
Yeah.
So with 14 doors, does that fall into the bucket of having a front office or no? Like a front office employee, is that like in the budget, or is that in your numbers? I'm just curious because having someone on site would be crucial, but also an additional expense.
It is. So this is the really fun part. So you don't need, in my opinion, you don't really need a front desk person, but the city is trying to get people to have a front desk person at all times. So, and I say trying, like it's not an official rule, but there are like talks of it. So we are having to budget that in already. And it also doesn't hurt to have somebody there to like kind of make sure the turnovers and everything's kind of the quality control person. So what we're budgeting right now are so 2 full-time cleaners and 2 full-time staff during the day, maybe the night, just depending on how it goes. There's like 4 people total. Yeah. Right now they have 5 going full-time, but they're doing the linens off-site, which is just crazy. So we're gonna.
Is there a room for laundry room?
There's no. Well, they have a small one, but we're gonna turn that into like a room for guests to actually access if they need to do laundry and crap. And then we're gonna build our own like commercial like laundry units in a separate area. So, yeah.
Nice. And use the cleaners to do some other people's laundry too, and make your money back. I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing too. Like we put coin operated laundry units. We have parking too, private parking in New Orleans.
Yeah, that's good. I know, right? And right there too.
Yep. Charge for parking.
Dude, it's like 50. It's like $50. Yep. It's so expensive
a day. Yeah, it's crazy. And then we have we're gonna make it pet friendly. So you charge for pets. I mean, there's like all these like other additional ways we can do it to make more money. It's just it's the logistics of putting it together and getting it organized, but we'll figure it out.
Well, the cool thing about the pet fee, though, for like hotels, you can charge a lot more.
I know.
A larger pet fee.
Yep, like 50, 75, per pet,
Yeah.
So,
yeah, per pet per night if you wanted to.
Yeah, seriously. And the nice part is like there's literally these rooms are small. There's no like couches and stuff in it. I mean, it's like literally 2 beds or a bed, a bathroom, and a dresser with a little mini fridge. That's it. So, I mean, what's a pet going to do? Maybe throw up on the carpet right there and then get cleaned up. It's just little things like that make it a little bit more manageable compared to pet friendly at a short-term rental. So
I don't know if you thought about like the phone either, because people are people that go there, older people are going to be calling the phone. So
well, yeah, so that's where the VAs come into play.
Good.
So yeah, so we're gonna have full-time VA. That's really gonna be the kind of the operational staff behind the scenes and bookings and things like that. Literally, this hotel, I kid you not, they would shut down at like 7 o'clock at night, lock the doors, turn off the booking systems, and just shut down. And then that's it. Like the employees would go home. Nobody was like so like if you were like a last minute booking, like you're looking for a place to stay, this place was not available.
And they did 500. They do 500 a year.
Yeah.
So if you just resolve that problem, you'll probably do 650. Just
yeah. I mean, like I'm not even like I underwrote it at 500. Like I mean,
right. But I'm saying like I mean it's easy to increase revenue just by staying open.
Just by doing some of these small things. You know what I mean? Charging the pet fee. I mean, these guys had keys for the doors. You know what I mean? Like stupid stuff like that, where you can easily get the messaging and the stuff to the guests a lot easier and have VAs if they have to call or ask for something or whatever, they can reach out, message to the VAs, and having QR codes and stuff like that. That's just a huge piece of it. So yeah, I mean, I'm really excited about it. I don't remember the exact number, but there's like trillions of dollars or billion. I think it might be billion. I don't know. There's a wealth transition going on from boomers to the next generation down, and they're retiring. Right. So like this guy who owns this hotel, he's retiring. He's like, I'm done. I don't want to deal with this anymore. Like, and it's obvious with the condition of the hotel. And that's what's going on. So I'm taking it on and I'm going to figure it out, but I'm going to bring it into the 21st century, and make it like what it should be, and how adding the technology and everything it needs in that property. So.
Yeah. So I got two questions. The first one is, when you were looking at this, when you were running the deal, do you run it like you're doing your single family vacation homes? Did you identify any low hanging fruit, or did you see any amenities that maybe competition wasn't doing that you were going to put into play? Or is it more just like, hey, like let's bring this into 2025 and just make systems, operations, everything better? Or is there also some amenities you identified where you're like, dude, this would be a good addition because it would bring in more money?
Yeah, so definitely. So the two big amenities, and actually three, that we're going to add to the property. So when I did when I back up, do my research, you can't necessarily compare it to like a condo, a 1-bedroom condo, because it has no kitchen, it has no like living room. It's literally just bedroom, bathroom, and then hotel lobby, right? So you can't use that revenue. So you actually have to go find other boutique hotel rooms to try to understand what the revenue potential is, and which changes the data provider. So STR Insights, because some of those boutique hotels are on Airbnb, we do have some of their data, but I did go use other data resources like CoStar, which is a commercial real estate platform, and was able to pull their data from there to see other boutique hotels and what they were like. What I found, there's two big amenities that are, take it to the next level. So number one, hot tubs, which I thought was crazy in New Orleans, but that really did the thing. And that's what we are going to add, hot tubs. And it's really cool. The properties actually run where we're going to do the hot tubs in the courtyard. There's the electric lines already ran there. And it wasn't like he had it planned. He was going to put washer and dryers out there for some reason and didn't. So I'm
outside.
Like, I know. He said he was going to build like something, and I was like, all right, whatever, man. But anyway, so we've got the hot tubs. We're going to do 2 hot tubs, but the last one, the obvious big one's a pool. So if we want to jump up even further, we could do a pool, but I don't know if we have the appetite to take on that kind of level. So we'll see. We want to kind of keep it somewhat simple, in terms of the operation side. You add a pool, now you're adding multiple layers of legality, risk, and also just maintaining a pool at a hotel. I can't imagine, especially in New Orleans, you're gonna have somebody come by like every day,
Yeah,
make sure no one's
it's probably like $200 to $300 just a day, just in chemicals, just
exactly, just trying to, and it would be kind of small, but yeah. So the pool's off the table, but we did figure out, and this is really awesome. And our bank who's lending us, he's really excited about this too. The roof is flat for a good size of it. So there's room to do a spiral staircase into a rooftop bar. It's going to be baller. So
yeah, they're definitely going to increase revenue especially like it's the same thing like in Houston and the metros. Is if you're not rooftop, you're not making money. Like you're gonna make a lot of money with this. Yeah.
So and we could do, because we're a hotel, we could get a liquor license as well and actually have a bar there too and sell or just do a lounge or whatever. Anyway, so we've got it in the works to be able to do that as well. So we're doing the hot tubs, the rooftop, and then we're going to keep the parking. And so when we launch the hotel, and then obviously like a bunch of cool string lights and stuff, make it look cool. But when we launch it, we're going to bring in a food truck into that parking area, have a little private party, and then the rooftop and the courtyard. It's going to be cool. So
hell yeah,
excited about it.
I'm excited about it.
Yeah, that is cool, man. I can't wait to
All
see
right,
the
Matt,
content
I'll
on
send
it.
you an invite. Yeah.
We'll be there.
Looking for October as the time range. So yeah.
So let's go back a little bit. I guess we never talked about this. Maybe you want to talk about it, maybe not. But how you had mentioned exactly what you're saying is taking place, that the boomers are transitioning out of these maybe outdated businesses where there's plenty of opportunities for a tech savvy business owner to come in and 2025 it and make it better, improve operations, make more money. And I think this has become, a big topic of conversation. So I guess my question is, do you have any tips or tricks of how did you find this deal? And if people that are interested in doing something like this that are good operators, how do you get into this kind of game? Is it just like a connection thing, or any advice
with
on how it
boutique
came about?
hotels or with just short term?
I would say related to your boutique hotel thing. So for you example, how did this deal come to you?
Yeah. So the biggest thing, like I kind of mentioned this earlier, and I can't emphasize this enough. It's about relationships with people. Like number one, I would have never, if I found this on Zillow or the MLS, I would have never batted an eye at this thing because I don't understand New Orleans. I'd never been there before, and so, but it was my relationship with this agent who'd helped me with other properties and the trust level I had with her to kind of give it a second look and to dive into it and to do the research. So one of the things I think people need to do is, if you're interested in particular markets, you need to connect with a good real estate agent, and who especially, so if you're trying to do boutique hotels, you need to connect with a commercial real estate agent, not a residential real estate agent. That's really important. People don't understand that. And because they're going to have off-market deals and opportunities and be able to show you stuff that comes up that you just wouldn't have thought of or seen in general. And so that's honestly how I find a lot of the good deals, even short-term rentals. Agents will send them to me. They're like, Kenny, we've got this thing off market. They're willing to negotiate now. We can get it. We can, where before it goes on a bidding war, let's you need to check this thing out and find someone for this. And I'm like, yeah, let me dive into it and make sure it's good. And you know what? I'm going to be honest, 9 times out of 10, it's not that great, but 1 time out of 10, it is. And so it's worth doing that research and everything. So build those relationships in the markets that you really are interested in. And that's just another deal flow opportunity. And that's where, whether it's boutique hotels or, short-term rentals. So, yeah.
So I'm like a ping pong ball. I want to circle back. So building STR Insights. So when you built this company and you built this business, what was the hardest part of building this business for you?
Man, I'm gonna give a cheesy answer if that's okay.
Bullshit. I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
Yeah. People. Hiring the right people in the right seats. So I know you hear that this is the cheesy part. It's not a technology business, not a software business, not a SaaS. It's a people business. That's just true. It's just like I when I started to get the right people in the right seats, things started to grow faster, and they're still growing. I'm not saying I'm all about this crazy, Fortune 500 level or anything like that, and we won't ever be. But getting the right people, like my team, the consultants, things like that, where I was able to gather around experts who aren't necessarily Swiss Army knives. Like, I'll have people reach out to me all the time. Hey, Kenny, I'm looking for a job. Great. What do you do? Oh, I do a lot of things. My favorite one is marketers. Oh gosh. They'll come to me and they'll be like, yeah, I can do all your marketing. And I'm like, that's a huge red flag, because that means you're a jack of all trades, which is not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for someone who is a master of 1, maybe 2 things at the most, because they're going to excel at that thing and beat everybody else at it. And if we really need it, they're going to help us grow. And so when I got rid of, and I say rid of, in a nice way, it wasn't easy. It took me about 1.5 years to do some of this. When I got rid of a lot of the Swiss Army knives or the jack of all trades on the team and brought in people who were very talented at one thing. I mean, I've got one of my consultants. She's probably one of the best real estate investors I know in this industry, and finding deals and flips and all this kind of stuff that I personally work with. Like, one of the best. I know a lot of people, and she's one of the best. She hates technology. Absolutely hates it. Like, she will not. We have a Slack channel. She refuses to be a part of it. Like, the entire team's on it and uses it. She won't be a part of it. She only allows me to text her, which is kind of annoying. But I don't care, because she's so good at this one other thing, and it's like, she has brought a lot of success to our business because of her skills, and I could care less about the technology issues. So even though when I visit her, I'm like, hey, let me get your phone real quick. I'm going to download this and take care of it and set you up. But it's just understanding. And it's the same thing with engineering and marketing. And I mean, I've got a guy for copywriting. I've got a guy a gal for social media. I've got we could talk about that too if you want. I've got a guy for my podcast as well, and helping me market and get that material ready too. And so it's like, by doing that, it frees up my time and things that I'm not good at, and I can focus on the things I am good at. So the right people in the right seats.
You got a lot of good people
Working on it.
So, and you're right too. Like, I mean, and a lot of people, it's the people that don't realize that any business is a people business. If they don't realize it's not a people business, they end up failing at some point. Because everything is a people business. If you're involved with people, you're a people business regardless. And that's every business. I had one more question, and then I'll let Austin bring it home, because I know it's like been a while and you got things to do and you didn't pay anybody to be on this podcast for you.
Okay.
So what in your whole I don't know how to say it, career, your whole journey in real estate investing, what was the biggest mistake you made?
The biggest mistake I made was I bought a property in Buffalo, New York that didn't have parking. Which is crazy. It was a really cool house. There was just this, like, I had this gut feeling deep down that it was a mistake to buy, and I bought during COVID because the numbers were just so good and everything. And I was like, I can't miss, and it did well, but I kept having issues over and over and over, and people not booking because of the parking. And it was such like a kind of a kick to the gut because it was so frustrating, I haven't missed on a lot of real estate investments, but that was definitely a miss as well. And then I'll add another one I did too. I messed up on is I bought some land in the middle of Arizona before COVID, and COVID hit and all the building prices went way up, and I just it wasn't affordable and to make sense to build. So I just own some land in Arizona now. So if anybody wants to set up some glamping tents, by all means. So
I'll lease it to you.
I'll lease it to you. There you go. Yeah. So I mean, it's not these, these little things. Like, I'm not perfect on things, and you buy houses, and like the Dawn situation we talked about with the plumbing. It sucks when we find these situations, but it happens. And I think for anyone who's trying to learn from someone else's mistakes, like, you will make mistakes, and it's just, you need to make sure you have a protection and a buffer. So in case something does go wrong, it's not the end of the world for you. You can dust yourself off, learn from that experience, and then come back ever stronger, and make better decisions. And so as I make mistakes, that's what I kind of do. So yeah, never over leverage yourself.
There you go. If you're not following Kenny on Instagram, he makes some funny videos. So my last question is, like, if you're doing, a house in Texas as your most recent investment, is there any way we can do like a Cowboy Kenny segment or something like that? Because we want to keep the comedy rolling, man. I love your
cut off
marketing.
jean shorts. Cut off jean shorts. You gotta have that.
And a bush light.
Did you go to the Houston rodeo so you could understand how you need to dress for this video?
There you go. Yeah.
It's almost over.
Yeah, no, and it's not in Houston, but I plan on at least this Kentucky one. We're gonna try to do some good content into this month, more like walkthrough. But yeah, I post some funny stuff, I think. So at least I think it's funny. My wife's always rolling her eyes. She's like, who laughs at this stuff? Like, no one thinks that's just awkward. Like, that's embarrassing. And I was like, I mean, people think it's funny. Like, I don't know. Like,
that's the wife's job, though.
Yeah, I know, right? She's always critiquing it. She's like, "Oh, my friend saw this and was like, oh," and I was like, "Well, that's, they're like, they're not my friends. I don't care."
You go through your social media analytics, and it's like the comments are like Matt Austin.
Yeah. Matt,
just the co-host bros are like, "Dude, this is awesome.
This is awesome."
I think it's funny. I mean, the thing about wives, though, they're always like rolling your eyes, and you're doing it, and like, "Oh, I can't believe you're doing it. You're embarrassing me." But if like my wife saw Austin do it, she'd be like, "Oh, it's so funny. Knee slapper. Austin's hilarious." It's like, and then if I do it, it's like, "You're an idiot." I'm like,
"You're an idiot." Yeah.
Thanks,
or my wife will send me things. She's like, "Oh, you got to do this," and it's like, it's literally like the last thing I would ever want to do. Like, it's like borderline embarrassing, or like, she sent me one where it was like this ad of like this guy like these kids like going over and being like these old men like creepers going up, hey kid, you want to come into my basement, or you want to like get in my van? And all the kids are like, no, we want to go skating. And my wife's like, you need to do this. And I was like, why would I do that? Like, no, I'm not gonna do that. Like,
she's like, humiliate yourself.
yeah, she's like, bring it down just to another level.
Oh my god.
Oh, anyway, but it's fun. Yeah,
That's
so
killer.
follow me if you're on Instagram. I'm trying to get on TikTok. If I can ever figure that, well, I'm letting my girl figure that out. But follow me on Instagram at Kenny_Bedwell, and you'll have a good time.
Man.
And they're educational. I got education in there too. I sneak that in there. So
you do. I think it's fantastic. We laugh about it all the time. I mean, I think what was it the other day? I think you got to 10,000 followers. I followed you with like every page that I had.
Sure.
Was it 10,000? I think it was. You're like 3 people away or something.
Oh, I know. I'm only like 3,000, but yeah, I think it was like 3,
or whatever. Yeah, you're like 3 people
yeah.
away from whatever goal it was. And I said, oh, okay. And then I followed you with all 3 pages. And then I was like, oh, I just followed you 3 pages. You made it. But
Thanks. Yeah.
that's the key to running a bunch of Facebook pages. I could just follow a bunch of people.
Yeah, you guys are the only ones watching, so I appreciate it. So
yeah.
Oh,
well, Kenny, I mean, we could probably go forever, but I know that we all have things to do, especially you. You're the busiest guy here. And we just really thank you for your time. And it was just a killer episode. And I really hope that everybody enjoyed it and got a lot of value from it and laughed a lot, because I enjoyed it. And yeah.
Thanks for having me on, guys. It was fun. So,
and thanks. Austin, I'll let Austin let us out like he always does.
Peace.